Welcome back, City Builders. I'm CanadianMoosePlays. This is City Skylines 2, and in today's video, I'm going to be your guide as we explore the wonderful world of detailing in our first installment of the Detailer's Crash course. I will show you some of my recommended mods that got me into detailing, a couple of detailing tips and tricks that I apply to all of my builds, and some build guides for common scenes found in North American cities. So, let's begin. To start, let's talk Paradox mods. This video is not a tutorial on mods, just simply showcasing some of the many amazing mods used for detailing. As always, make sure to subscribe to any dependencies to ensure a smooth modded session, and all of the mods covered in this video will be linked down below in the description. There's a lot to cover when it comes to mods for detailing, so let's get started. Let's start with Move It, which will allow us to move items around in our detailed areas. Next, we have the Extra collection, which is comprised of Extra Lib, a dependency for these mods. Extra landscaping tools gives you custom brushes and resource tools. Extra detailing tools, which gives you the ability to add net lanes, snap decals to buildings, and a whole bunch of more stuff. Extra asset importer, which allows us to add custom decals and surfaces into the game. And lastly, ELT, a surface pack, giving you additional surfaces that can be used for detailing different scenes. Next up, we have Find It, an asset icon library. Find It will allow us to find props, buildings, and anything else we wish to use for detailing, and the asset icon library will give us thumbnail images of all the items in the game to give us a taste of the item before placing it. Next is Asset Packs Manager, which will allow us to add custom assets to the game. Now, this is highly experimental as we wait for official asset support from Colossal Order on Paradox mods, so please proceed with caution. After that, we will need Anarchy, which will allow us to bypass the game restrictions when it comes to placing props, decals, networks, and so on. Next, let's grab Line Tool. This will allow us to place items in a straight or curved line, as well as randomize them to help us with precise detailing and placement of things like props and trees. Next up, let's grab Better Bulldozer. This mod will be essential for detailing as it gives us the power to delete some items such as net lanes, which the regular bulldozer cannot remove. Let's also add tree controllers so we can customize the age of trees and prevent them from changing their appearance on us. Now let's get Prop the Growables, and this will allow us to place growable buildings anywhere on the map. I would also suggest Road Builder mod. We won't be covering it in this video, but maybe a future video. It's extremely useful and honestly essential mod for detailers to be able to craft your own realistic road designs. After that, let's sub to Toggle Overlays, which will allow us to place items without that whiteness that makes it really hard to see. Next up, let's get Parking Lots by Dome, and this will be crucial later on in the video for crafting realistic custom parking lots. Sometimes the buildings in the game look bland, so let's grab Recolor to help change that and allow us to custom color any building. After that, we have Asset Variation Changer, which allows us to maintain one color for props and net lanes when placing them, but also to change the color to one we might like better. Now, I'm going to run you through some surfaces and decals that I recommend. First, go check out Solly's page and G87, as they both have massive catalogs with amazing surfaces and decals that I use throughout all of my projects. Here are some more recommendations. Grates and Covers decal pack, road markings, lines and arrows decal pack, extra team graffiti, real world petrochemical companies, letters and numbers decal pack, rust, crumbling walls, gray stained surfaces, McDonald's decal pack, American Road Surface Extension, American Road Surface Extension decals, door and windows decal pack, doors decal pack 2 European antique doors, sand surfaces, and beach decal pack. Lastly, linked in the description below is the GitHub download link for Real Vision decals, an absolute must-have for any aspiring detailers. Well, we made it. We survived the mods list, and that's great. But where the heck do we start? For new players looking to get into detailing, let's find a spot in our city that we like and start there. Why not start with a classic downtown alley? Here's a downtown alley without any detailing. It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't feel realistic. So let's start by choosing some decals for the road, and this will help to give it that more worn looking aesthetic and make it feel much more similar to actual alleyways, especially ones found throughout downtowns such as Vancouver, Toronto, and many more North American cities. Now that we have the road looking good and rough, we need some props. So let's open up Find It and locate some trash props. Maybe a few dumpsters, a bicycle or two, and some shopping carts. Now that we have our props laid out, let's go ahead and place them in a way that feels familiar to us. A big thing to note as I take you through this crash course is that detailing is extremely subjective. What might feel realistic to one person may not feel realistic to somebody else, all based on the cities we have been raised in and places we have experienced. Now that we have the props placed, let's detail it up and blend it all together. Now, the final piece, graffiti. And I absolutely love the Real Vision graffiti. It feels so authentic to most North American cities. And just like that, you got yourself a realistic and detailed alley. And the ideas proposed here can be implemented across multiple builds. Start with an idea, find some decals to set the theme, and layer from there. Blending is crucial in selling the whole product, and props and trees just bring it all to life. After you finish your first detailed project, you might also be wondering, well, Moose, that's great, but what do I do next? And for me, a great way of finding what I could build and detail next is using the demand bars. They will tell you what your city needs, and you can use that as a way to say, oh, well, let's build a realistic strip mall because the city needs commercial. Or let's detail up some realistic industry, and so on. And if you ever find yourself struggling for inspiration, Google Maps is probably the best source for it. Likewise, you can also use Google Earth. I wish they had a tracker for hours used, but it is so heckin' useful to help you get the sense and vibe of a place that inspires your build. Here's another tip. Power lines go a long way. I like using the tall 10M power lines for alleyways. Something just reminds me of the alleyways here in downtown Vancouver. Any size can do well to add to the overall aesthetic, and then these can be used in your suburbs and backlots. They are so useful. Decals can also be used as a great way to add more realism to the base of areas with lots of foliage. Think of your parks, garden areas in front of shops, and empty lots. So let's dive into a live play with some build-alongs, where I will show you how to build some realistic common areas found throughout North American cities and likely many other countries. So welcome to the live play portion of the video, and today we're going to use this little spot of land here to cover abandoned lots with parking, custom building corner stores on apartment bases, fully functional worn parks, and a custom basketball court. And everything that we do here can basically be implemented in your own builds wherever you see fit, and the ideas can just be used interchangeably throughout builds that you're doing. So let's get started with abandoned lots, and it all starts with a decal. So I love coming in and using the Real Vision decals, which can be found under the ground decals tab that it creates. They just have a bunch of options. Like, you can choose really any of these and be like, yep, that's awesome. That looks like my abandoned lot. For today's video, we're going to go with this little corner piece here and just go ahead and place it. We're going to hop in with Move It now and grab our decal. Just kind of line it up to the edge there. And you can also raise and lower it too. See how when we lower it, it creates it, like it pushes it more on the surface so it's more visible. Makes it much easier to blend it. Also, it's like a really cool... Oh man, that curb looking piece is awesome. So if you look at like the edge of the decal there, if we rotate this, we might be able to get an even better aesthetic there where the cars will park, because it'll look like a natural bumper. Yeah, that looks awesome. So that's our first decal, and then let's go ahead and place the parking pieces down. Now, I recommend when placing these, don't span them on top. It actually breaks the vehicle path. Try and space them out like how I did here when placing. You can drag them, they're not decals. You can drag them like this, and they won't break with Move It. But I noticed if I place these dome parking lots on top of each other, we're also going to raise to the object height of the road, that sometimes they break the car path and the pedestrian path that's used to make those things functional. We're going to leave it so that they're a little bit visible there so I can see my line for when I come in to do the same thing again on the other side here. We'll push those down, line them up, grab this guy, and just bring it so that we know that it's the right height to the height of the road. Let's make sure we do it for all of them there to the right height of the road. Rotate these holding the left Alt key, and then we can kind of see, and yeah, that looks good to me. Cool. All right, let's push that in just like that. And they do get hidden by the decal. Again, to me, that adds to the realism. I'm sure for some people, they'll be like, I don't like that as much. For me, it really adds to the realism. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the concrete barrier prop here, and we're going to go for just the yellow color. Let's turn off snap to the surface of an object. We're just going to spam a whole bunch of these down. Now, you could just use the line tool for it, but I don't know. I want to place these individually to craft a more realistic look, so I'm going to not use the the line tool. We're going to select them all, and I could have sunken them in before placing, but I'm going to be honest, I always forget to do that. So we're going to sink them in just slightly, and this, again, shouts to Red Kool-Aid. I always feel like I gotta say praise, you know? Red Kool-Aid was the one who fostered this idea. At least for me, he was the first person that I saw that did it, and I was like, damn, that is so cool. Okay, let's switch to single. And you can still see the lines, right? Like when you zoom in, so it does make it easy to like figure out where you want these to go. And you might be like, now so again, to sell it, the reason why I'm not using the line tools, I want these to be kind of individually placed here and like where they go. So I'm going to quickly place these. You can follow along, but probably this is something where let's speed up the footage, shall we? And I'll catch you after these have all been placed. Okay, so now that those have been placed, let's go ahead and make this whole thing functional. We're going to come in here and grab the road. So we're going to do this one here, right here. So this one, you know what? Actually, there's enough space that we could likely... Yeah, look at all the space we have. We could go with this one here. So sometimes if you have tighter spaces, go with this one. And for those wondering what these all are, they are invisible, sometimes visible with the parking spots, but invisible networks that are added into the game. And so these here, the green is pedestrian, the blue is car. So if you're ever looking at these like, oh, what do the lines mean? Green pedestrian, blue car. So let's go for this one here. And we're going to turn off our snapping so we can get it perfectly down the middle. And see how it snaps? That's what you want to see. It snaps to the roads with the green line, so you know it's functioning. The parking lots also snap in, thus we know that this is functioning. Cars will start to be able to use this. They'll recognize it. Take some time, but they will start to park there as they recognize those as spaces now. Another thing you can do, because again, Z-fighting is still sort of a thing, but not in the normal sense that we see it. At least I only notice it when I'm hovering over a cursor. So you can actually blend multiple decals which is really, really, really cool. Now, again, there are some that work better than others. As you can see, that one goes under. But, like, look at that. The crack goes over. And, like, that is kind of a nice way to sort of blend it with the road there, right? We can add that in, start to blend, add some more cracks over here around it. Really just sell the idea of this being a worn road here. And we can even come in. I believe there's some really cool... Yeah, even, like, the oil stains, too. Like, look at that. Those go on top. Like, how cool is that? Just adds and elevates it even more. So just browsing through, seeing the decals that you have available, what works, what looks good for you. There's just so many cool options here. It is, again, these decals are an absolute game changer in my opinion. Oh, yeah, look at this. Oh, yeah, that one's awesome. A little bit more of this over here. Like, look at that. It just starts to add to it. And then there we go. Cars are using it. Look at this. Look at how cool that is. Nice and close to the bumper. Love that. But like, as you can see, fully functioning. A car will park in it. Person will go for a walk. And it just looks so dang good. Now, we can also do, because layering is key, so let's go into our trash option and just start to add some more trash out here that you'd see around a... especially in an abandoned lot like this. Now, some do get buried underneath, as you can see. Some go above, some don't. So we'll have to try and find ones here that go above. Like, that one's great. Let's see if some of these do here. Yeah, there we go. Nice big one that shows up on top. Awesome. Go like this one over here. And it really just starts to sell that look of like an abandoned lot, right? Garbage, trashy. Even though we are close to like a nice, beautiful tower. So now that we have that, let's blend the edges of this lot here. So let's go in with some more decals from the Real Vision collection. And it's just about browsing and finding something that you think looks good for you. I love this one because it can be used as a pathway, which really helps to blend it. You can also use it like that for the grass. But one of my favorites, let's see here. Yeah, stuff like this. Like, this is great here. This could be used so well to blend stuff. So you could go in, especially if we're going to plan a... Basically, I would like to do like a basketball court over here or like a park. We could go in like this here. Let's grab this one. Just sort of blend it like such. You line it up well enough. It shouldn't be noticeable that it's multiple. Ooh, it did push that one on top, eh? Dang. Dang, okay. Well, let's push this one. Well, we could get away with this one going the whole way down too, eh? Just like that. Yeah, that looks a little bit better in my opinion there. So that helps to blend that edge. And then we could come in with another one as well too. Like, there's just so many options here. So many great options. Actually, does this one not show? Yeah, nice. Look at that. That one doesn't show above. So we could actually use the grass there to help blend that. And look at that, eh? Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Great way to blend that in there. And then you know what? Let's have this be part of our park area here. We'll do a basketball court here. We'll do our park area over here, like open. Actually, this should be basketball court, hey? And then this would be the open park space since there's like a lot more space. And one of my favorite decals is this beautiful worn grass decal that really sells the look of it. And we'll see if we can find it here. There's also like a showcase too of all the amazing decals, right? As I try to find which one I like the best. But we're going for that kind of like worn look. Oh, this one is such a good decal as well. You could use some trees in there to help blend that. That is such a good one. I don't know if it fits the theme that we're going for here because it's much more Pacific Northwest overgrown. Even that is so... Oh, that's so good. Look at that, eh? Dang, I like that one. There was a different one, though, like a more worn one that I was looking for. Let's keep on searching here. Yeah, this one. It's so good. Instantly captures sort of the vibe that we're going for with that worn park look. Look at that. See if we can blend it a little bit better there. Just like that. Yeah, there it is. And then that becomes... Now, as you see here, it kind of looks like Z fighting, right? When I go like that, it's just the cursor. So if I go into camera mode, look at this. No Z fighting on that. Isn't that awesome? So cool, eh? So we've got our worn park area here, and we can even come in. Let's add a net lane and use that as a fence. We're going to come in here with a fence. I probably like the security one too, hey? The nice, tall, industrial one. We'll turn off snapping just so I can get it much more precise. And we'll put it in over here just to add a little bit of protection there. You know, assuming that this was, you know, maybe people, it's like not an official dog park, right? But people maybe, you know, take their dogs here. So we'll add the fence on that side there. Also sells that look of like the, you know, was a lot. Used to be buildings here. Now it's abandoned. This is our little pathway there. And then we can come in here and do our our basketball court, all thanks to Solly and Solly's amazing basketball court options. Like, look at this. So cool, eh? Oh, it's a little bit too big. It's a little bit too big. That's fine. We can maybe sell the idea that it's a little bit worn. Dang, I thought this would have fit perfectly. It's a little bit too big, eh? And it gets a little bit sussy on the side there. Damn, we were so close. But what if we go ahead and beat this guy? Oh, that does look so good there, though. Damn. Welcome to the wonderful world of detailing. We can put the basketball court in the side over here then. And can I move this because it hides under the road? Yeah, nice. I can actually hide that decal over there, just like so, to get that more worn look that's pushing up to it. And I don't know, would we do, because you've already got the fence here and the fence here, I don't know that we need, like, maybe a fence here would make sense. So let's go ahead and add one. And as you can see, I'm just drawing from things that I, you know, like personal experiences with these places of what I think would look realistic. This is so subjective, and it's going to, you know, depend entirely on your own experiences. So now we have this empty gap here. So let's try and find something that we could do here and fill it up. So let's go for something. We're looking for something a little bit smaller. And honestly, maybe that decal, that one's nice too. A little bit too big. That one's not bad either. That one's really nice. We could go for, yeah, the rocks look really good too, actually. That one's not bad. But we could go for that decal that we used, or we're going to use earlier. That looked really good. If I can find, let's see here. Or, yeah, okay. I always go back to this one. This one's the MVP. It's the best decal. You can use it for so many of these spaces just to sell the idea. And it might look repetitive here, but the second that you start to add foliage to it, it's going to, trust me, it'll sell the whole look of it there. Look at that. We've got that area detailed up, and that's the placement of decals and some fences there. Now let's get into the props as well. So let's get some prop action going on, and we're going to go for... search it up. Let's start with, and we got type slow. If you're using Find It, type slow. Trust me, Find It crashes all the time for me. The slower I type, the better it seems to be. Another thing when doing this stuff, make sure to have elevation lock turned on, which we forgot to do for these. So learn from my mistake. Always have elevation lock turned on. It will keep the elevation of the props you use. So since the idea of this is to be like a park vibe, like an unofficial park, maybe put some benches out and over here and kind of stagger the spot where they would be. And then likewise, let's also add some benches like this for the basketball court. Maybe have one there, just like that. Looks cool. People to sit and watch their friends doing. But we also need a hoop. So let's grab a basketball hoop, add one of these in, and maybe just make it feel like it's a little bit, you know, these ones especially, because they're like the ones that are very easy to move. So there we go, just like that. We got the hoops for a basketball court. We got some benches now added. So from there, we can go ahead and do, I would say probably some trash bins, because I'd imagine, or maybe just one, especially if like, I don't know, people are gonna be using this and like dogs are using that. Let's go ahead and add in a trash bin. And let's see. Oh, so I was dragging, never drag the slider. Never drag it. This would also probably be covered because like wildlife and whatnot. But let's have the bin be kind of over here. So that looks good. And now I think we're good with props for here and whatnot. I mean, you could add... No, that's probably good. I think that looks good so far. Let's go ahead and add in the foliage now. And this is what ties a build like this all together. So let's add in some foliage. We also have all these new tabs, which I keep forgetting. They're so nice. The new tabs of the... that were added with the newest patch. So cool. Like, they're really... Man, this makes it so much easier to find stuff. Even these flowers, they don't really make sense in this scene, but like, damn, that's so good. Oh, these, yeah, this is like, honestly, this is so useful. So we can just like take a look and see, you know, if there's some props that we want to use. But it's all about that. Just look, explore, see what you like, see what you don't like, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. That's so nice. And then now let's dive into our foliage. So let's get some trees going as well. So for this one, and trees, it's all based. We don't have many trees, right? But base it around the theme that you're going for. This build that we're using for today is our Pacific Northwest build. So there is going to be a much heavier emphasis on spruce trees and oaks and whatnot, and play around with the slider too. When you go for smaller trees, like look at that, the small oak like that looks awesome, right? This is probably my favorite variation as well of the oak tree, just like that there. Look at that over top of it. Like, that looks awesome. Could add a couple oak trees in here just to give it that more dense look near the parking there. And could even get in a couple of these smaller guys. A couple more. Actually, these probably even like here. Or maybe we keep this area clear. Less is more, I've found when detailing stuff like this. Maybe a couple pine trees like that over there. Yeah, that looks awesome. And then I would still see probably some trees out and about over here. Let's check out the alder. I love this tree. Such a great, like, old growth kind of tree. Go for a bit of a smaller version of it over here. That looks awesome. Couple alder trees. Maybe even just one, honestly. Yeah, the lone alder tree looks great. And then let's come in with some foliage here. Let's go in and just start placing, likely near the already placed trees. It just looks really great as a base. Come in like that. Like, that looks awesome. These ones don't need anything here, but we definitely want some around here. Come in with some stuff like that. Sprinkle a couple of these around here. And I love these bushes. These bushes are so, so useful for this stuff. Boom. And it just starts to, like, look at that. How much better that looks with the foliage that we've added. And that kind of completes your scene there. You can go crazy, take those ideas, implement them. But it's all based off experiences. And if you struggle with what you're doing and what you want to add to it, just look at Google Maps. It's so useful for stuff like that. We can also now come in and do the shop front that I advertised. So let's do a shop front. We're going to open up Finder here and just search for shop front. Just like so, and it should pull up. Or is it storefront? Let's see. I thought it was shop fronts. Now, there was an update, so did it change? Oh, no, it is storefronts. Okay. With the new patch, I'm like, is stuff missing? Did they change stuff? But look at how good these are. Now, I would suggest if we're going to use a wall like this, let's go for one that's flat, just like this, and let's push it up to the edge here. An even easier way, too, is just to place it first. Makes it a much easier view if we come in and use Move It. And we're just going to push this up against the wall as best as we can. Makes it a little bit hard with the door, as you can see that kind of being pushed there. But you can come in and kind of sell the looks of these. Let's see if we can even find one that doesn't have a sunken door, potentially. But I think that they all have... Yeah, they've all got the sunken doors, so it's a little bit hard to add it on. Maybe you'd want one, like, you know, hard to blend it if you look at it from this side, but just ignore the gap, because it does look great there. Like, honestly, that looks really, really good. And then doing this can be used anywhere on any building. You come in with, like, the little storefront, right? Line it up to still it looks good. Like, that looks awesome. And then we're going to go ahead and just add some stuff to detail the front. And you know what? Let's use the new filters that we have. So let's come in with some flowers like this, a couple little flowers here, and then let's go ahead and see if I can find the table sets. Do they have those? There's some really awesome commercial table sets. So we have nature, we have park, potted plants. Oh, and these too, like these are great. We have residential props. Oh, commercial, right? Because it's a shop front. Yeah, there it is. So under commercial, we can just put a couple of these. Of course, we got people that are just hanging out kind of in the way. But it kind of, I don't know, it looks cool because there's people there hanging out. Might smell a bit bad with the the trash over there. We can go back to the potted plants if you want as well and go for something a little bit small just to add that sort of separation there. And just like that, you start to build this scene, right? So it's just exploring the props you have, the stuff that's available to you to craft these realistic scenes, and you can do this throughout your build. So that's a little live play action there, showing off the I don't know, different ideas, kind of what my thought process is, and I really hope that this is useful for some of you that are interested in getting into detailing. I'm super curious to see what the reception to this video is, what you wished I showed off more of. You know, this is just like an idea that I had my first attempt at a video like this. The second video will incorporate more of your suggestions. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, but let's hop into the outro of this video. So there you have it, part 1 of the Detailer's Crash Course. There is so much that encompasses detailing that we couldn't touch on all of it in just one video, and as the title suggests, there will be future parts. Let me know in the comments what detailing subject you'd love to see me cover in part 2. I'm CanadianMoosePlays, this was City Skylines 2, and I will catch you all again very soon.